I've certainly seen some highlight plays from him, so we're going to have to watch out for that Desert Eagle as we head underway.
I'm not quite sure if I'm happy about a Deagle right now starting off in the pistol round because it's always that $700 risk, but if he hits his shots, and especially as the aim punch has been reduced, very good options that he finds some very nice frag. EastTech holds himself up onto Ivy and will meet at least a bunch of Fnatic players in just a few seconds. As they're coming through, there's number one to be found, but there's nothing coming around the corner. Here comes Golden. He's been taken down, and it would look like it was even some team damage that came in from JW. Snappy finding another onto Lacro, and the bomb is now perfectly there. Once more, it seems like, as you've mentioned, that pistol round is totally backfiring for the terrorists, as one after another is being found by the heroic lineup. In EastTech, he finished it off. He seals the present, and it is Crims who has to die last.
Yeah, Yugi already starting to look good. That second shot over towards Pop Dog was very, very nice, finding the quick headshot through. And again, I mean, if we're not careful, we could see more of the same here. You know, we have got Fnatic, of course, upgrading the pistols into this round. And again, you have got those Desert Eagles that can be very dangerous if you are not careful. And Heroic themselves have gone for 3 UMPs, so only a couple of rifles in the mix. This is fairly standard, though, of course, the UMPs can do the damage, but we're just going to see a quick play onto the B bomb site. JW doesn't quite react to Nico, who sprays 2 down, and here goes Snappy from upper to find a frag of his own, and that's just going to shut down that quick B play. I like the idea from Fnatic to try and get the quick bomb plants, but without the utility, it's so difficult to gain any ground when there's 2 CTs holding. So the Deegs of Crims and Lecro will look to see if they can find anything else at the end of this round.
But it doesn't seem to be the case at that point. I mean, 2 Deagles, as you've mentioned, are something very nice to work with, but 5 heroic players will not be found that easily, as 7 bullets are in the mags of both. He's money. That is a beautiful shot by Crims. This is exactly how you want to start off. A frag exactly made for a frag movie, but 4 more to go. This is not the final one. This is just a slight piece of the big heroic cake that needs to be eaten very soon by Fnatic, as they're taking their time. They know where the bomb is. That is the most unfortunate position you would like to be. You want to grab the bomb right now. Both try to go do some run boost. No, that would have been more than beautiful, but that is not the case. And it will be Snappy who will guard it with his entire life till one of the Fnatic players comes around the corner. There he has been spotted. Crims now needs to hit his shots. Actually doesn't lose the slightest bit of an HP, and now he's the only one to be alive. Will try his best to get anything, get some attention, and that's it. EastTech, he finds him. And you know what I love about Heroic? They're never overextending the slightest bit. Throughout the entire time as there were CTs there on overpass, they were never overly aggressive except till the end. So it was very relaxing. Not your entire body shivering and asking, what are you doing, CTs? Why do you do this? It was always that point where you said they play a defense lie very, very deep on the side, and exactly how you wanted to do if you want to keep up and want your opponents to directly run into you.
Yeah, we've just got Glocks, of course, in this round for Fnatic, so not really expecting anything to come through. But yeah, as you were saying, you know, Heroic, they have just been sitting back patiently, and against the pistols, they realize there's no need to really risk anything. They can just sit back and wait patiently for the Fnatic players to push their way forwards into their open crosshairs. We have got Snappy taking a slight risk this time, pushing aggressive in towards Pop Dog. If he goes down, that could be a UMP lost, but again, the UMP isn't exactly going to be all that much of a risk to be going down. And he can just fall back fairly easily with some support behind him in towards E-Box. So it's not really a massive risk, and it does take some map control away from Fnatic. So that's certainly something I'm not too disappointed about. And we have got Fnatic just spread across the board. You know, Crims is having some fun shooting out the paper towels here.
Crims plays the cleaning lady, it feels. You know, he's getting all the things out of the shelf so we can play some other things in there, like major trophies he won back in 2015. But no, I'm sorry. That was you know, my bad sense of humor. We know we Germans are known for a bad sense of humor, so that was more fitting. But right now, Snappy tries to gather 2, does not happen. Lecro, he takes him down, and so a little bit of control has been gained, but that narrow way of Pop Dog can backfire quite easily, especially as there are only 30 seconds left on the clock. The bomb's somewhere near to T-spawn, so it will be only some frags that would be nice to be found. JW on 5 HP as the nade directly hits him, and that round is pretty much over for the attackers. Some nice frag would be cool to hurt the economy of the CTs, and that actually happens. Another frag, Money's being taken down. Another one! It's only 2 more. That's getting a little bit hot.
Yeah, there's 10 seconds left. They've left the bomb behind. They're finding the kills, but there's just no time left, and that's such a shame here. We've seen this a couple of times from Fnatic there. They keep just leaving the bomb back, and it seems like they kind of just run out of time and don't realize how little time they have left. And that's such a huge error there, because there was a real chance for them to get the bomb down. I mean, I know it's just a full eco-ig block, so you're not really expecting to get those kills either way. And we will head into a gun round here, so it's not such a big sort of cost for them. And we will just see them go for the buy now. So Yugi does have that AWP on the CT side, and he had a fairly good spawn if he wanted to go for some sort of aggression in towards Ivy, but I think he's just going to sit back passively. Though as I say that, EPICENTER is the man pushing his way forward through Ivy, so we could see some fights over there at the start of the round, as the CTs take some aggression for themselves. Apparently we've just got NiKo solo holding that B site, but there will be a rotate through, and it's Modi to go aggressive himself in towards A main. So Heroic are really taking portions of the map away from Fnatic at these early stages, and that is a perfect flashbang to allow EPICENTER that opening kill with the M4. And the map aggression early on from Heroic, they kind of switched things up. We haven't really seen too much CT aggression from them so far, and yet it works out.
Oh,
He will be spotted, yeah. JW gets a free kill back, so we do go back down to a 4-on-4. And now Fnatic have a few more sort of opportunities if they want to push towards the bomb site. The map looks a little bit more open for them now.
That was a tiny angle that was perfectly spotted by JW. Now it's still that full disambling of the Fnatic team. That aggression, as you mentioned it was perfectly executed by EastTech. He didn't get too greedy. He picked up the first and realized, okay, there could be a second that gets a little bit too hot in here. Let's retreat as soon as I can, and there he finds another double kill from him in this round, and so it's only down to Crims. And he himself, he will try his best to gather anything there from Popdog. He now smokes his way out, but there's another flame coming in. He just pushes through down to 43 HP, and that was just a flame standing there somewhere in the smoke. That was awkward. Did you see that?
I didn't quite catch it.
There was some kind of, the flame was somewhere around Popdog, and also the smoke popped a little bit here, but still I don't know. It's Counter-Strike, right? It's something we don't have to always understand. Pretty much like the rules of nature and physics, it is sometimes very different and very difficult to really get to it. But Heroic, what's not real difficult to see is how they actually gather the control once more on the CT side, and this is so lovely. That is some kind of play where you realize their defense is just so much on point. They control Fnatic with everything they're doing. Going for the aggression there on Popdog was successful last time. Now it's a defense against just a few upgraded pistol. Yugi with a double, 2 nice frags he finds. And this is a way you can go off and where you can hit your players really, really hard. And it would be JW finally grabs a gun, but I think that will be over before it even started.
Yeah, I really like the boosted positioning towards connector with the AWP. You know, it's a fairly tight angle, but if you can land those shots, it can really sort of slow down the push towards the site itself. And Yugi, again, is starting to get the job done here. Already 8 kills and 0 deaths. I mean, again, I know we're at the early stages, but he's been looking good with that AWP. We haven't really seen him miss a shot so far.
Not really.
So that's always a good sign for your AWPer, especially on train, of course, where the AWPs can be so powerful. And you can even take some aggressive fights if you want to. We're going to see Yugi go towards the B site this time, and he's lining up this smoke for the one-way. This could be an opening, but he misses that key first shot. He goes for the repeat, but in comes the spray in reply. And I like the idea from Yugi that he just whiffs the opening kill and then gets a bit too hungry to try and re-peek on towards a position where he is certainly vulnerable to being sprayed through. So despite the good idea from Yugi, he does finally miss a shot, just as I sort of talk him up. And Fnatic gets a clean man advantage off the back of that. And now Heroic themselves just continually losing players here. It's EPICENTER to go down, but here comes Modi, at least finding one trade back. But still a man advantage for the Swedes, and it seems like they might make their way forwards towards the A-bomb site where only Modi.
The idea was nice, the execution didn't work out. Same that was with Yugi. And now Snappy just jumps up, is lucky enough to get back onto the ground, hitting Flusha directly into the chest. And so it's also NiKo getting Electro, bringing it back to a 2v2. And so only the $4,750 rifle on the hands of the 27-year-old Dane can save the day for Heroic. He has a kit on his hands, as well as he has a Molotov and a flashbang. But the best decision probably, especially when we take a look at the economy, it is to save, because Yugi and EastTech, they can't majorly afford something. Next round, NiKo and Modi are looking good regarding the dollars they have on their bank account, but that's probably the right decision. So Fnatic, not like last time, not like Overpass, where it took an eternity for them to gather the first round. It is actually in number 6, where they find the first victory, or part victory at least, on their own map pick, Train, because Heroic, their CT control is good, and Fnatic, finally, they can show that they're still existent on this map.
Yeah, in terms of Yugi looking for that opening there, again, I'm very happy he tried to take that first kill, but I think the repeat was a bit unnecessary, especially when you have no cover, right? You know, you're just on the other side of a smoke, so you can, of course, just get sprayed down, and that was exactly what happened. So I like the early aggression, but not quite paying off for him this time as he misses that shot. And now Fnatic themselves, I mean, they are only going to have the AKs, but they may be lining up a quick A play here. A couple of nades going over the top, and we've yet to really see Fnatic go for too much fast aggression. Here come the flashes over the top towards the site itself, and JW may look to take the point towards the bomb site as he moves forwards. Snappy is holding off on top of the train, but there goes Body, incredibly aggressive. It's not going to work out as JW sprays down 2. And now as they move towards the bomb site, JW just keeps going. He finds a third on the round, and the A site is now wide open for the taking, thanks to 3 entries from JW, and Nico won't have any chance.
This is exactly the Jesper Wexel we know. He comes in, he says, I don't care where you stand. That smoke, I don't care either. And he finds 1, he finds 2, and he just finds one after another. 3 important frags. He got that spray through the smoke. It looked like the final shot is not going to hit, but then in the end, it was one more Heroic player falling out. So that is a way you can actually gather control of that A site and look Heroic. Quite weird, because their defense usually is really good when it comes also to the A side, but for some reason, you know, they just didn't manage to. And so it's going to be the second for Fnatic, and economy-wise, the accountant of Heroic probably won't be happy, because there is not much money left on their accounts.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to see Fnatic mix in some faster plays into their playstyle, right? Because when you start to go for those quick aggressions towards the bomb sites, Heroic are going to have to use some of their nades early to make sure they can counter that. We see the successful quick push coming out, and I think that's something that Golden might need to mix a little bit more into his strategies, because sometimes those quick plays can catch the CTs off guard, and it just makes them think twice about, you know, trying to save their nades for the late round. So it really can make a big difference in terms of just making you a bit more unpredictable. And now, of course, Heroic themselves have been broken in terms of their money. It's gone for a 3B stack early with some aggression coming out from Nico, but he will get forced back by Flusher, who lands a couple of shots towards him. Understandable to try and get the rifle going in first and winning a fight, but he is forced to fall back. And Fnatic will gain control towards Brown Halls, but it doesn't seem like they're too worried about pushing towards the B bomb site. Instead, they're going to move their way back and sit patiently, waiting to see if Heroic even have a buy here, because it might be a little bit questionable. You know, Heroic could have probably forced up if they wanted to take that risk. So I think Fnatic are just going to play for information, take their time, and with over a minute left on the clock, they still do have plenty of time to play with.
Yeah. As you're saying that, it's going to be Snappy. We'll take a little bit of damage. The impact of the grenade, not quite sure about that. He stands towards the ladder, and here should be the realization from Flusha. Okay, we have one guy who has only a pistol, but then there comes Nico with his M4 and finds one. That B side is very open though, and it should be Nico who moves towards a close range object very soon. There comes Flusha with that flame. He just hides himself behind the smoke. There is Golden to be found, but then he just moves up the ladder, and that is so unfortunate right now for the Heroic player who was the only one with the rifle on the board. One after another falling down. Easttack might have the chance to gather some frags off guard, especially Flusha, who's very low HP. There he comes with a few body shots, but that 2 versus 3 without a kit, and especially without armor, will get very difficult for Heroic. They should maybe even consider to at least save that AK. Not going to be the case from Yugi. So it's time to go to the chopper, evacuate, I'm out of this, and EasyTech runs away from the sweets. And that's probably the smartest decision in this case.
Yeah, and he did manage to recover that AK, and you can see Fnatic themselves, I don't think, are too happy with their money just yet, so they're not really going to be looking to hunt him down all that aggressively. I think they'll be happy to just save a few more guns, keep their economy rolling, so both teams will just have a little bit of a gentleman's agreement to save what they can, as Fnatic take their 3rd round on the board, but Heroic themselves certainly have the cash for the buy now. Off the back of the saved rifle as well, they will get an AWP, a double AWP setup in fact. The Snappy decides to go for the secondary AWP on towards the Heroic side. And I'm going to be very interested to see where they play both of these AWPs towards, because Yugi has certainly been switching it up. Either way, we're going to have to look at this round quickly, because Fnatic again seem to be lining up some sort of early aggression, the push coming out, but JW and Lekro both take damage early on towards their push in towards A main. So it's not going to be that easy for them to gain ground towards the site, especially as Nico's getting boosted up in towards Connector. It's going to be fairly difficult for them to find all these angles. You can see the shots being rattled off from the CT side. Still not quite any kills just yet, but certainly a little bit of damage dealt by the Danes.
Body shown here from Muddy. Gets taken down. Flusha has not the slightest bit of a problem to find the first from the counter-terrorist team. And so it will be Snappy, who keeps himself very, very hidden behind the box. Hope that Crims exactly moves into his crosshair. Shoulder peaks. Snappy can keep his patience. Crims just waits to load a flashbang, and there comes the whiff. That shot should have been on. Oh, then Crims comes finally in the end and takes down that Opera that was about to at least save that side of B. And now Nico grabs himself an AWP from the taken down connector player. And EPICENTER tries best to at least hit JW. And it's that 4 versus 2 that is pretty much unwinnable for Heroic at that point. Maybe he's going to knife. No, unfortunately not. That would have been more than beautiful if EasyTag would have done that. But a second op to be saved. So it's going to be Heroic, giving another one to Fnatic. One will be Electro to go for the hunt. Another frag being found. But there needs to be some kind of idea from Heroic. After they won 5 consecutive rounds, there's a point where they need to attack Fnatic again, where they need to take the momentum off the hands of the Swedes.
Yep, nice exit kill as well from EPICENTER. Not generally considered an AWPer, but he's still clearly capable with this weapon, finding that final frag of the round, as Flasher will likely just look to hold on to what he can. Just as I say, it's the last frag of the round. He does peek into the open, so double AWP saved. And off the back of that, this makes it a sort of awkward position now for Heroic. You could say awkward position, get it? Because my name's Hawker. It's a good joke, right?
I don't know if I'm... It's great that I run OBS, so I can just mute you.
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding. Please never do this again. I thought the German humor is horrible, but then, you know, UK steps in and does that. I mean, the joke is as good as your CS, but to get back to it, we're going to see EasyTag right now trying his best to gather JW, who's up on the dumpster. 3 players from Fnatic that are just waiting there on to Ivy to make the right push. We have never seen again EasyTag taking that aggression early on to the game. Flusha finds Snappy though, and so it's back to 4 versus 5. A lot of time left still for terrorists. This time for Heroic to get a decent setup up and running.
Yeah, Nico with the AWP is peeking towards upper B, so that's allowing 3 players to stick onto the A site, but again, under the trains, Modi is spotted out. He slithers away on 1 HP, but he can't be feeling too happy about that one, as EPICENTER himself is now going to be the main player on the hold, trying to make sure no push comes through Ivy, and here we go. The push comes forward, EPICENTER still trying to spot out the first opponent, but he misses the all-important shots. Modi himself will at least find a frag on his 1 point of health, but he ends up going down. And again, the double AWP's not really being able to find the kills at the early stages. Yugi finally finds one, but he's all by himself over towards the A bomb site. And that's the difficulty here, it seems like. You know, you really want those AWPs taking those opening fights at long range to try and make sure you are as safe as possible. And instead now, Nico is just trying to hang on to what he can. So it seems like Fnatic are finally finding their feet here in this series. We're going to go back to a 5-5 scoreline, and well, it took them a little bit of time, but we might get to see a competitive map, which will certainly be a nice little mix-up after what happened on Overpass.
Yeah, earlier on you just especially asked for that more competitive game, because Overpass was not really looking like that. So we're back to an equal scoreline, 5-5. It's going to be tied in just a matter of seconds. Nico shivering there to get at least his AWP safe, but that will be the case, except Lekro is going to hunt him down in just a matter of time. Lekro does try it, he sees, and Nico gets him just at the last millisecond. In the last tick, he finds one Fnatic player. Lekro is just standing there in the spawn like, how did I lose my stuff? But now it's time, and so far we have seen that somehow the defense playstyle has been a little bit switched up by Heroic, deciding to do some different things that we are used to them in their entire game play. And 2 players going here through connector. It's going to be Modi together with his teammate Snappy, but the flashbang doesn't allow him. Snappy once more goes up on the ticket box. The majority of the Swedes are keeping their way towards Pop Dog. So that's what's very interesting to see, is that Fnatic tries to stick to one certain position with usually 3 players to gain major control there. So in this case, it is around Pop Dog and also the entrance of the B site. And so Heroic gotta adapt to it, because only 1 player is playing B. That's a default setup. I'm never really convinced that this is the best idea, but for some reason they're only leaving Nico there. Now it's Modi coming over. So there's still a hell lot of time left. Fnatic has not gathered any major map control yet.
Yeah, Snappy is still boosted up, and he was nearly going to find an opening kill, but Fnatic decide not to peek towards him. You can see EPICENTER over towards Ivy. He's pushed up kind of by himself in towards that position, which is a little bit of a risk there, right? Because if a player pushes forwards, you know, you're likely only going to get one kill before you're really in some trouble. It's very difficult to fall back from that position. Either way, enough about that, because it seems like Fnatic are instead just going to push their way forwards, and Snappy yet again lands that shot from that boosted position. The push comes forward instead, and Yugi is forced to reposition up in towards heaven because of that Molotov, and he will spot out JW, who expects the angle himself. The AWP duels go in his favour as he finds a frag back, and the A site is looking fairly weak now. As you can see, the bomb will be planted. Here comes EPICENTER though, still with a fairly strong position to try and find some kills, but you can see the rest of Heroic all stuck in towards Connector. It's not going to be that easy for them to gain ground, but as the trades go back, Modi shuts 2 opponents down. And a quick flurry of frags wins Heroic their round and finally puts a stop to this Fnatic winning streak. That was 5 rounds in a row we saw there for Fnatic. But Heroic on the retake are successful, and I didn't really see, how those kills came in so quickly there. Impressive stuff from Heroic.
Yeah, it was Eastak who played a crucial role, who came there here over A main, decided to sneak up a little from behind, put a lot of pressure on the Fnatic, because there was not only one entrance they need to check for Connector, there was another one coming in and doing classic ninja moves, stabbing them in the back, being sneaky and working out fine. So it's going to be the 6-5 scoreline. Both teams, when we take a look, are having a tricky situation when it comes down to their economy, though both won many rounds consecutively. It will be just very decisive. If Fnatic loses this, of course, the economy of them will be pretty much shut down. If Heroic loses this, their economy will be pretty much shut down. It is a little bit more painful for the CTs than for the Ts, though, because together, CT economy is a little bit harder than the other way around. But we're going to find out, because the first 30 seconds, they stay pretty silent. JW only lost 9 HP. And so far, we're seeing that Ivy is once more a key point for at least 2 Fnatic players. In this case, Golden as well as Lekro.
Yeah, a little bit of a hot spot over towards Ivy so far. We have seen a fair amount of aggression, but Snappy this time is there with the AWP. He spots out the opponent, but decides not to take the shot and instead falls back. So playing it fairly safe there, not wanting to risk going down early on, which is certainly understandable, right? That's going to be an incredibly tough shot to hit. And when you spot out the opponent, they also spot you back. So no need to take that risk. But as the smoke comes forward, Snappy will be forced to play on the back of the smoke. And now EPICENTER up on towards that green train could be in trouble if the push came through Ivy. And he's having to watch towards a fair few positions there. That's not going to be easy for him to do. Either way, 35 seconds left and EPICENTER does open things up. In comes the trade and Modi swings out to help his fallen comrades and find the trade frag through. So with just JW and Crims left, they're going to be forced to push their way on towards this A bomb site, but they are unlikely to be too successful. Although Crims does get 1 kill, his teammate falls in the meantime. So Crims is left in a clutch that is fairly difficult as Nico sprays him down. And again, seems like Heroic are doing a very good job at rotating the players off of B in time to sort of hold down that A site. And again, they take another round.
Yeah, the default setup for pro matches is usually 4 on the A side, 1 on B. Something that can be risky when it comes down to holding that side with the solo player, but in this case it worked out more than fine. And as you mentioned, the rotation was just on point, especially how Yugi just went over, swinged out, and got the last frag that was coming there from a player on to Ivy. So it's going to be now Nico holding his way alone onto the B side. Rotation from Snappy to help him with the AWP, and Modi would be available to move around quickly. JW gained a lot of place already. I mean, he's right now there already onto the train. Moving right now back, has gained a little bit of control, at least a little bit of information. This is what I meant. So the 2 players from Heroic will probably see a wave of Fnatic players just coming around the corner in a matter of seconds, if no crazy change in the strategies happening. But I mean, the strategic options for Fnatic in this round are also down to 0 pretty much regarding what they have.
Yeah. Seems like they're just grouped up around Brown Halls. Hey. I mean, they're likely to just go B, but already Snappy is here with the AWP to find the first, and oh, Nico sprays 3 down. That is such a tough angle to spray towards, but he finds all 3 headshots. That's just an incredible display of individual skill. I know Fnatic didn't have the best buy, but still, very, very impressive from him as Heroic continued to put rounds on the board. And I was kind of saying, I think Nico might be one of the undervalued players in this team. and yet still he finds all 3 kills on the hold and shows us how valuable he can be, spraying 3 opponents down. Again, though, we are going to see the buy from Fnatic here, so despite the hype from the previous round, we have to focus on this one, where we will see 5 AKs from the Fnatic lineup.
Yeah, the mass that Fnatic made there here onto the B side had to be cleaned by the Janitors of Heroic, who just did such an immense job. Clean up what was left of the players who just had pistols in their hands. Smoke coming through. JW thinks twice about getting out of there, but there he comes, and there Osprey from Nico comes as well. Hits off Crims, who was not even the main target, and JW survives with only a single point of health, while Eastak is very close to Electro. He gets him though, as a bit of his body has been shown from a gap in the smoke. Snappy with the AWP knows that Electro is there. Now it's just about the other 2 players from Fnatic. Where are they going? What is their target? Where do you want to see them taking the bomb? Because that destination, it's not determined yet. And so, Heroic keep up their pace, keep it as defensive as usual. Modi is here to help Snappy, because once Electro moves around the corner to take down the upper, he will be found by the Swede.
Yeah. 38 seconds left. One smoke comes, and there's Letcro to get that all-important entry, because that could really open up this A bomb site. Or he could even try and wrap his way towards B. That's certainly still a possibility. But Fnatic just have to make up their minds soon, because with 25 seconds left, again, the time becomes a huge factor. Snappy is on towards the A bomb site, still with this AWP. And he might be able to shut this down as he lands the all-important opening kill. And now as the bomb moves forward, Snappy shuts down a second player, and that is the round done. JW is hoping to find a flank on towards the B side of the map. But great shots coming through from Snappy. That second one to drop the bomb really just solidified the round win. And again, I mean, other than that sort of 5-round win streak for Fnatic, we've yet to see too much else out of them here. And, you know, at this point, if they lose that second half pistol, they could be at real risk of this scoreline just kind of getting a bit too out of hand for them. Because, again, they really don't have a great buy here for the last round of the half.
Exactly, and now it's going to be a high possibility that Heroic actually goes into double digits. Fnatic with a very squishy buy, getting everything they can on the board, and already that means that they're pushing out. They're not taking too much time with this, because they're only interested in getting the side, and JW and Golden are both there to grab a lot of control. Now it's going to the bomb that needs to be planted soon, because pressure needs to be put there onto Heroic. The shots for the smoke are not successful for Yugi, but then there comes Golden, and he gets taken down through the smoke, and now it's only 2 Fnatic players that have the opportunity to make at least 6 happening. Grenade from Nico is on, and it directly lands in front of the face of Crims. So JW might use his sneakiness, and look how he uses his patience. Oh, look at JW. This is not happening. This can't be the case. He just waits patiently. He just hopes that no one realizes where he is. And there's... No. Don't do this, JW. Are you kidding me? 1, 2, and that is in the end Nico who gets him. What was that? Does he even make it? He has a kit. He should be able to do so. But that was some ninja stuff that came here in from JW. What was that?
With a CZ as well, to get even 2 kills out of that position, like, that's so hard to find that second headshot even. You've got to give him props there. I mean, if he has a little bit more time, or even just an AK, he probably wins that, right? So you certainly have to give him credit. Very, very nice try. But still doesn't quite work out for Fnatic. And at the end of the day, despite the effort from JW, they still concede 10 rounds. And this CT pistol becomes hugely important for them here. If they want to keep themselves really in with the best possible chance in this series, this is a vital round for them to win, just to get themselves back into, you know, a decent enough position where, you know, they can really get that CT side rolling. And so we do see Crims go for the kit alongside the HE grenade, which is a little bit strange. Generally, you will see the smoke just to make sure, you know, that you can try and sneak the defuse in the midst of it all. And what do you think about the HE grenade being brought up by Crims? You know, could this be a specific sort of counter strat for Heroic, or do you think he's just going to try and pre-nade just to slow down a rush?
I have to be very honest with you. I don't like when people have a kit but not a smoke. That is just something in my mind, because, you know, that kind of sneaky plays where you just pop the smoke, everybody takes care of you, and you just defuse are a really good option and a really good idea to play. What you're just mentioning is exactly what should be happening right here. Crims just taking some kind of aggression. He's usually the support player in the Fnatic lineup, so he should be able to slow down what is coming from Heroic. The aim punch, or more likely that grenade punch, will also slow them down, giving them a great opportunity to just peek around and take the players who are moving a little bit delayed. But the pause has been called off. And now it is going to be that second half we're going to see. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to get very, very interesting, because now It is about grabbing the pistol as early as possible. If Heroic does it, and especially if Heroic get onto the 11, Fnatic can probably pack their bags when it comes to train. Their pick, their choice, and their only opportunity to not get out of this match that early.
Yeah, Heroic going towards B early on, except for Tag over towards Ivy. And I do like the fact, again, they have the smoke and the flash. So if you wanted to get towards that B site quickly, that's always a possibility to try and get the bomb down, because you can see just how sort of passive Fnatic are playing, and this is fairly standard. So just getting the bomb down alone will be a great start for Heroic if they can make their way forwards. But it seems like they're just going to run out through Blue Train here, and that might not work in their favor as the rotate comes through. They're going to try and make it towards that A site, but JW shuts down the push. And now the Heroic players that are on the A site don't have much to work with as the bomb is dropped, but the kills still come through. Back to a 3v3, and still some possibilities here for Heroic. Even if they don't have the bomb, they can make their way forward and attempt to recover it. But a great shot from Lekro shuts down Tag. And again, now without the nades, it's very difficult to regain presence here towards Connector, as Flusher seems to be going aggressive. But look at Snappy, he should get one free kill as he catches Crims off guard, but still 2 more to find.
The bomb is in the most narrow position, and not really how you like it. Lekro finished it off after Snappy finishes off his teammate directly in front of his eyes. So maybe that's going to be the Swedes who are making their way back onto the path of victory on the CT side. And interestingly enough, statistically speaking, Fnatic is exactly, let me just calculate, 14% better on their CT side. 57% win chance or win percentage they have as a counter-terrorist on train. So statistically speaking, way more favorable, and Lekro starts off. We've taken down Nico. Only 4 more. Not even 15 seconds have passed. Those pistols, logically, close-range frags are usually being made with those. I'm not quite sure if that will be the case, especially the B side, open and wide as it is. It might not be handy. Try it that way.
Flusher's playing very close range there, but Lekro is still here. Long range, but he goes down with the rifle. And so the bomb site will be gained control of by Heroic, and this becomes slightly worrying now for Fnatic. You can see Modi pushing his way forward, playing up close with this CZ. Trying to find an angle here, and Modi is going to flank around the back. This should be 1 free kill, looking for the second, and he finds 2 cracks to leave Golden 1 on 2. He looks for the first kill, moving his way forward, but again, he's having to deal with 2 angles, and they just double peek on towards him to secure the round win. And that round right there might be what sends Fnatic out of these stages. Because again, the loser of this is knocked out, and Heroic managed to win the force buy. That is so brutal now for Fnatic on the back foot.
That's not really great, especially how they played. The most confusing thing was when they pushed over the catwalk, and one of the players of Fnatic was just staying there on the ladder, trying his best to do with the Molotov. Actually got 1 frag, but it's not as great as you expected it to be. And that just means that now Heroic has so much to play with. Take a look at the utility. Madi, Eastack, and Snappy Care at that point. They can play around the entire map the way they would like to, but now JW tries to do the more aggressive approach. We'll find out if Nico will get it in. Seems like that is going to be the case. So 1 player less on the Fnatic side. The CTs have to defend only with 4, and that just favors Heroic more and more and more. Not going the way you would like it to go.
Yeah, again, Fnatic just trying to stack towards that A site a bit more heavily, which I certainly think is a fine gamble to take. And it may work out for them. They're going aggressive in towards A main, but Nico is sitting on the other side, waiting for a push to come through. Though just as I say that, he himself is going to move into the crosshair of Crims, and that's the bomb dropped down. Such a weird decision there for Heroic, for him to walk in by himself, because now they are at risk of losing this round. The push comes forward, but Golden is still up close, and Yugi reacts so quickly to take off his head and bring the bomb back into their hands. And meanwhile, the fight over towards B favors Modi, who will now have the B site all to himself. So despite the slight error from Heroic, they will be able to get their way back into the upper hand. And again, Fnatic with 2 players, you can see them spread out. It's just so difficult to hold a site by yourself here in the 2v4. So Heroic do recover themselves well as they make their way towards the A site. And unless Lekro can pull off an insane play with the Deagle, this one looks like it should be done. Although Lekro gets a kill, so there's still a chance here.
Yeah, and those 2 players are just there fighting with the Deagle, have to find 3 Danes who will have a lot of pressure regarding the bomb, but no one will go for it. No one of the Fnatic side. A kind of approach, nice frag here from Lekro, but that was all that he was getting. So now it has to be Crims who need to pull off some magic. Oh, he doesn't hit the shot. That was the whiff. That should have never happened. Those Deagle shots were so crucial that it was an easy frag because not even Yugi was watching, and then it is actually the shot that comes in from the back. The 7.62 ammunition that takes down Crims. Could have used his Deagle so wisely, but didn't do that. And I'm just waiting for the break from Fnatic, because they should do it. Heroic will be up 14-6 in a matter of seconds, in a matter of minutes, to say it like that, because they only have those pistols. Not really much is going to happen with them, except Heroic runs into a great pistol stack from Fnatic. We're going to figure out, but the B side seems to be their main destination, and Flusha's on his own there.
Yeah, with just a USP, what can Flusha realistically do? I think the answer is going to be nothing because he's already getting overwhelmed, and in the meantime, Lepro tries to help him out and loses his life because of it. Flush continues. The AK's finding the kills. She did find one with the USP, but again, not too much else to be done as Golden is the one man left. And again, talking about that Crims play earlier, I mean, you hate to see it, but it can be somewhat difficult to hit those shots on the back of the head, but even then, I don't think Crims was even close on that shot, which is a little bit frustrating, I'm sure, for everyone to be watching. And again, I think it just kind of shows, you know, if Fnatic were sort of in the lead, you know, he might have the confidence there, and you know, they might be rolling and he might hit the shot, but instead, he ends up going down. And I mean, you know, everyone makes mistakes, so you can let him off, but when they're 13-6 down, you can't really afford to be making so many mistakes like this. Either way, this is a gun round that Fnatic are going to have to win at this point. 13-6 down, and this is it. Fnatic, it's now or never. Round 20 could be the deciding one if Fnatic can't come out on top.
To just put in perspective what the community thought, just regarding the odds you see on all the betting websites, it is actually Heroic being somewhere around 2.2 multiplicator, while it was Fnatic with 1.5. So this gives us a really clear picture what actually the people logically think how Fnatic is going to perform. I mean, in the past weeks, their performance was actually quite on point. I mean, they took down Immortals 2-0, Mousesports twice 2-1, and then only lost against Hellraisers in the North. So, with that being said, there comes the approach now. Flusha with another frag, bring it back to good bound, and those shots are so important right now. But it would be not Nico if it would not be Nico to take him down. 2 versus 2 it will be. The retake needs to happen quickly, and JW as well as the IGL Golden both don't have a kit. Maybe they can grab it from any kind of the corpse. It doesn't seem to be that way.
Yeah, EPICENTER, the one man left, does have a Molotov, but he's not really in a great position to get it towards the bomb itself, and I think a smoke has just gone down. So EPICENTER, despite throwing out this Molotov here towards the bomb, sorry, the smoke isn't there, I thought there was one, but instead now EPICENTER will slow things down, and without the kit, this becomes scary. The peek comes through, EPICENTER misses the shot, goes for seconds, but doesn't quite find it. The Deagle up close, nearly finding the kill. Does Golden have time for the defuse, though? I don't
feel so. No, it's going to be 14.
Wow.
That is just brutal right now. Fnatic, they're not having the chance. It's even only Golden surviving with just a single AK in his hands. It should be break time right now for Fnatic to talk once more about what is actually happening on their own map pick, but they decide to rather not to. Maybe they just want to accept what is the case, but now, there's the break, finally. And Haka, I have to ask you something.
Okay.
It's 14-6. It's an important game. It's Heroic versus Fnatic. We don't need to talk about this. But how good are you at rhyming?
Just on the spot? I'm not going to be good.
Okay, sad. I was thinking about a game, but seems like we're not going to do that. That would have been the most brilliant idea in this world.
You want to just start rapping on stream or something?
No, not rapping. No. I think you know, the Twitch chat is going to go right now and say cringe kids all the time. This is how Twitch works and how we are. I mean, we're supposed to be get offended at. But what I meant was, you know, you give me a sentence and I have to directly rhyme back, but I think that is the wrong kind of game to do so. I mean, if it would be 14-1, then we could talk about it. But right now, it seems not to be the perfect time, especially as Fnatic are trying to set themselves back into the game and to get some grip onto the match they have nearly given away.
I mean, yeah, Fnatic obviously have to force up at this point, but with these weapons, they're going to have to hope for a hero play from someone. I mean, they do have Lecro with the AK, so that's something to work with on the CT side. And you can see a player pushed up into Pop Dog, which again, Crims with the MP9, this is a good position to play that gun from. But at the same time, he has very little support from his team, so it's going to be difficult for him to find more than one frag. And you can see he does decide to fall back after being so sort of away from the rest of his team. By the way, here comes the push, and Crims goes for the re-aggression, but that's going to cost him. Modi down Pop Dog, gains control for the first frag, and here we go. They're going to push forwards as EPICENTER finds a great angle on towards JW at long range. As the push continues, Yugi takes out his teammate. What the hell is going on right now? Such a sloppy round on towards the A bomb site. Snappy is still there on towards the site itself as Yugi tags another teammate. What are you doing, Yugi? Shoot the CTs instead. Snappy manages to clean it all up with the double spray down, but my god, Yugi was trying to throw that round away.
Yeah, I mean, Yugi suddenly decided to switch sides a little and get himself onto Fnatic, but with that being said, he had just a little bit of an itchy trigger finger to finish this off as soon as possible. Understandable, because in that one angle there was still a Fnatic player just waiting to push around, then Heroic, one of the Heroic guys comes around the corner and suddenly he just pulls the trigger. We all can relate to that, but now it's pretty much a situation where there's no mistakes allowed, where no mistake can be made. And that's pretty much Fnatic. Here comes the first aggression. E-Stack being taken out by the MP9, and Golden rotates back as quick as he can, because now the grenade he tries to put in keeps himself a piece of utility for later in the round. But that's a good start for Fnatic. That's something they can build on, but still we're on a 15-6 scoreline, something that can be ended in a matter of seconds by the Danes. And they're just all waiting themselves towards Pop Dog, where two players are waiting, but the most worrying fact right now is JW.
This is so scary. Yugi surely cannot expect this position. I don't think JW is going to go out into the open just yet, so he might just be fine. However, still, all by himself there with the AWP. If he goes down, the AWP would be lost. Either way, 58 seconds, he hears the nade. Oh, this is a free kill for JW. He hears the steps, he pushes forwards, and there we go. The kill comes through, the AWP is recovered, and now Heroic have to be worried of so many angles. You can see them trying to clear A main. The push comes forwards. There's just too many angles to contend with. The Snappy gets caught in the back. And JW, again, just doing JW things, finding positions where he can get free kills with the shotguns. And maybe that's a sign of something for Fnatic, him starting to get back to form, finding that free kill. And to be fair, he is up there towards the top of the scoreboard for the Fnatic side, but it hasn't been enough so far. And by the way, Yugi is up there at 22 kills, Nico at 21 frags. I mean, all of Heroic really are fragging fairly well, and clearly that's always going to work out in your favor. But they are still going to have to deal with the buy here, with JW having that AWP saved and some aggression out Ivy possibly early on. Golden playing that close angle does have support from JW, but this is still a risk as he could get isolated if they aren't careful.
And that is the crucial one where it matters. Golden takes the right aggression, peeks around the corner exactly at the point of time you would like him to be. The smoke just keeps him blocked, but still only 3 players. 30 seconds we have played, and there's also JW with a nice shot onto Nico. It all just falls apart right now for Heroic as only 2 players are alive. That spray is nice. E-Stack, he gets JW randomly, and he was probably kind of surprised what happened there. Golden should be an easy target, grabbing some control towards Ivy. Could work out perfectly, but now the rotation comes in. Crims just waits to assist his teammate as soon as possible, and he's just caught up in a situation you don't want to be in, because from all around the places, from all sides, there could be just a Swede coming around the corner saying hello and taking you down easily.
Yeah, EPICENTER all by himself, not much to be done here. Flusher waiting around the corner, wraps himself a shot with that AWP. Lecro is watching for the flank, so easy final kill. And that does mean that Heroic themselves will be down to a low buy. So again, they have managed to at least break that Danish economy. And that is, you know, the best way you can start to string rounds together, if you continually force the opponents down to these weak buys. But then again, at the same time, I've certainly seen a couple of Deagle plays come out from some of the players on the Heroic side. So can't just assume this round is going to be incredibly easy. Even though there are only 2 upgraded pistols, you always have to sort of respect those pistols in CSGO. And it seems like Heroic are just going to lean towards the B bomb site, where there's only 1 player holding. Flusher with the MP9 all by himself towards B here. There will be a rotate back through connector though, so he would be safe. And either way, it doesn't seem like Heroic are going to be that focused on B just yet. Although as I say that, they push forward. And Flusher up close does find the 2 kills. And there's still 1 player towards the B bomb site. So despite Flusher going down, he gets 2 kills, he does his job. And I think that should sort of solidify the position. And that nade from Lecro certainly does huge damage to the Heroic side. So they should be looking good now to close this round. Yeah,
JW exactly knows how to utilize that MP9 in the right manner. But now it's going to be 3 more Heroic players who will try their luck. I mean, they have gathered that CT submachine gun right now. It's not probably going to put any more pressure onto the players. Lecro knows what's up, put just 1 bullet to the head of Nico, and 2 more are to be found. Galore not even on high HP, which brings it down to Yugi. He will try his best to hit any more shots. Crims was nearly the victim of some deagle shots, but in this case, that is not happening. So it will be Fnatic up on a streak of rounds and maybe up for the challenge to gather themselves to double digits and maybe that entire game. They have to go into overtime if they really want to. So that means 6 more have to be found in that consecutive, which brings a lot of pressure onto them. Not a slightest bit of a mistake is allowed for the Swedes.
Yeah, obviously Train is Fnatic's map pick, so I was wondering if they were going to go for that double AWP setup, which you see fairly often on Train, and they do go for it with Flusher buying that secondary AWP, so I don't mind this whatsoever. You know, they have the money for it. As soon as they lose one round, they lose the whole game, so you can afford to invest everything into these ones. The Flusher with the AWP again is solo holding B, but he can play passively and just look for information if he wants to. And Heroics themselves don't seem like they're that interested in pushing through just yet. Attack's going to throw out some nades over towards A, but that's a little bit of a fake, and they're going to make their way towards B as Snappy gets the first. Trade back from Crims elsewhere. Even trades for the time being, but just look at the B bomb site. It is wide open for the taking, and Fnatic are going to have to retake B, which is so difficult to do as Modi finds another kill. And you can see the players all in connector here. What the hell can Fnatic do from this position?
The most narrow spot, 3 Fnatic players are standing, and they just need to think about what they will do right now, because the options are pretty much running down to 0. 2 are coming here over CT. It's going to be Crims as well as Golden who will try their luck here, but Nico plays close. There's number 1 coming in, and it should be number 2, and it will be number 3. JW, he's just there with 24 HP. He gets that frag as well. He gets another. No, this was the whiff, and so we're with the 16-9 Fnatic. That will just mean that this is a 2-0 for Heroic, winning their opponent's map pick as well as their own. And that is kind of surprising. I don't know how you feel about this, Hawka, but I did not 100% expect that.
Yeah, I mean, I did say pre-game I do think Heroic have the players to compete here, but I wasn't expecting them to be so dominant, especially on the first map. I know it was over past their own map pick, and we haven't really got to see them play it recently, because it seems to be fairly often banned against them, and I think you could see why. They were so strong on that first map. And that might have just taken the wind out of the Fnatic sails a little bit, because you saw here they had a little bit of a slow start. They did manage to bring it back sort of towards those gun rounds at the mid stage of their T's side, but then, you know, heading into the second half, it just never really came together for them on their CT side. And so Heroic, I mean, off the back of some of these young players, Yugi and Nico